Before we begin, remember that this video is for educational purposes only and isn't legal advice. Always consult a qualified attorney for your specific situation. Legal jargon can be intimidating, but understanding the basics can protect you. Most people sign contracts every day without realizing they're giving away their rights or locking themselves into expensive traps. In this video, I'm going to show you how to spot the red flags in the fine print so you can sign with confidence or walk away before it's too late. Alright, let's start with the basics. A contract isn't just a piece of paper, it's a specific type of promise that the government will actually enforce. A contract starts when two parties truly agree on the same thing. If one person thinks they're buying a car and the other thinks they're just leasing it, you don't have a meeting of the minds. This is why clarity in the first few paragraphs is more important than all the legal jargon at the end. In legal terms, this is called consideration. For a contract to be valid, both sides may want to give up something of value, like money for a service or a product for a promise. A one-sided promise to give a gift usually isn't an enforceable contract because there's no exchange happening. Many people believe a contract isn't real unless it's written down, but verbal contracts are often legally binding. The problem is proving what was said months later when a dispute arises. Always insist on a written summary, even for small jobs, to avoid a he said, she said nightmare in court. Not everyone can legally sign a contract. Minors, people under severe duress, or those lacking mental capacity can't be held to most agreements. If you're signing a deal with someone who seems intoxicated or pressured, that contract might be worth less than the paper it's printed on. This is where things get expensive. Companies love to hide gotcha clauses in the middle of long documents. An evergreen clause is an automatic renewal that keeps the contract going forever unless you cancel within a tiny window. Many people overpay for years because they missed a 30-day notice period. Always circle the renewal date and set a calendar reminder the moment you sign. This clause gives up your right to sue in a public court. Instead, you have to use a private arbitrator chosen by the company, which is often more expensive and less favorable to consumers. If you see this, know that you're losing your day in court before a problem even starts. A merger or entire agreements clause says that anything the salesperson promised you verbally doesn't count. If it isn't written in the final document, it doesn't exist legally. Never rely on a "don't worry, we'll take care of that promise" if it isn't on the page. This is a fancy way of saying pre-set fines. It specifies exactly how much you owe if you break the contract, regardless of the actual damage caused. While it provides certainty, these amounts are often much higher than what a court would normally award, so read the math carefully. Quick reminder, this is educational content only, not legal advice. Laws vary by jurisdiction, so always check with a local attorney. Contracts are ultimately about who bears the risk if something goes wrong. Let's look at how to protect your wallet. Never pay 100% upfront for a service or renovation. A safe contract ties payments to specific milestones, like 20% upon delivery of materials. This keeps the contractor motivated and ensures you aren't left with an empty bank account and an unfinished project. Indemnification means you agree to pay for the other person's legal losses if something goes wrong. In many standard service contracts, companies try to make you responsible for their mistakes. Always look for mutual indemnification so you're only responsible for what you actually control. With inflation and supply chain issues, many contracts now include escalation clauses. This allows the provider to raise the price after you've signed if their costs go up. Make sure there's a cap on this increase, like a maximum of 5%, so you aren't hit with a surprise bill. Check the interest rates for late payments. Some contracts hide rates that border on usury, sometimes as high as 2% per month. Compounded, this can double your debt quickly. Negotiate these down to a reasonable standard rate before you sign. The most important part of any contract isn't how it starts, but how it ends. You need a clear way out. This is the get-out-of-jail-free card. It allows you to end the contract for any reason, usually with 30 days notice. Without this, you might be locked into a 3-year deal even if you no longer need the service or the quality drops. If a contractor messes up, A may help support period gives them a set amount of time, like 10 days, to fix the mistake before you can officially fire them. This prevents minor errors from turning into major legal battles and sets a clear timeline for performance. This covers acts of God like floods, fires, or pandemics. It pauses the contract if something completely outside of your control makes it impossible to perform. Check if your contract includes this, especially for events or long-term construction projects. Employment contracts often have non-compete clauses that rethink you from working for a rival. Many states are now banning these or limiting them heavily. If you see one, check your local laws. It might be completely unenforceable, even if you sign it. Knowing when to handle it yourself and when to call in the pros can save you thousands in the long run. Never assume a contract is take it or leave it. You have the right to cross out terms you don't like and write in new ones. If the other party accepts the changes and initials them, those are the new rules. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want. If the contract involves your home, a long-term job, or more than $10,000, paying a lawyer for a 1-hour review is the best insurance you can buy. They can spot the traps you missed and give you the leverage to ask for better terms. At Lawful Finder, we help you find the right local pro for these exact moments. The big takeaway today is that you have more power than you think. Don't let legalese intimidate you into signing away your rights. Read the exit clauses, check the payment milestones, and never be afraid to ask for a change. If a deal feels too complicated or one-sided, it probably is. If this guide helped you feel more confident about your next agreement, like and subscribe for more practical legal tips. For more help finding a qualified professional to review your documents, head over to Lawful Finder. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more legal topics explained in plain English. Thanks for watching. Remember, this is educational only and not legal advice. Always consult a qualified attorney before making legal decisions. Subscribe for more plain English legal explainers.